The skies above Seoul darkened as the massive alien vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere. It was 2150, and humanity was about to experience its first contact with the Novarian Empire. Commander Kim stood tall on the reception platform, her military posture hiding her worry. As leader of Earth's newly formed United Defense Force, this historic meeting was her responsibility. "They're early," whispered Colonel Lee, her second-in-command. "They're making a point," Kim replied, eyes fixed on the approaching craft. The alien ship was unlike anything humans had built, smooth, almost alive, with sections that seemed to shift and change. It hovered silently before settling on the landing zone prepared in the heart of Seoul's international district. World leaders watched from a safe distance. The global broadcast reached billions as humanity collectively held its breath. The ship's surface rippled, and an opening appeared. The Novarians emerged, tall beings with pale blue skin that shimmered in the sunlight. Their eyes were large, with pupils that expanded and contracted constantly, seeming to record everything they saw. Their leader stepped forward. "I am High Commander Taik of the Novarian Empire. We bring greetings from the stars." Kim bowed slightly. "Commander Kim, of Earth's United Defense Force, we welcome you to our world." Taik's mouth formed what might have been a smile. "We have watched your world for some time. Your species shows potential." The first meetings went well. The Novarians offered gifts, medical devices that cured diseases in minutes, energy, crystals that could power entire cities, and knowledge about the galaxy. Earth's governments were eager to accept everything, but Kim noticed things others missed: how the aliens asked specific questions about Earth's defenses, how they seemed disappointed when shown human military technology, how their eyes lingered on resource-rich regions during global tours. One night, Kim asked Professor Choi to examine one of the medical devices. They worked in a secure lab, carefully taking apart the alien technology. "There," Choi pointed at a tiny component. "That's not medical equipment. It was a surveillance device, recording and transmitting Earth's secrets back to the Novarian fleet waiting beyond the moon." Kim ordered checks on all alien gifts. Every single one contained hidden technology, mapping Earth's resources, testing, defenses, monitoring communications. "They're not here for friendship," Kim told Earth Security Council. "They're preparing for conquest." Many leaders didn't believe her. The Novarians had been generous, offering solutions to humanity's biggest problems. "Why would such an advanced civilization need to conquer us?" asked the European representative. "They could ask for what they want." "Because conquest is easier than trade," Kim answered. "And because they don't see us as equals." Kim decided on a bold move. During the next public meeting with the Novarians, she revealed one of the surveillance devices, displaying its inner workings on screens for all to see. "Would friends spy on friends?" she asked directly. The room fell silent. Taik's skin changed, color darkening to deep purple. "You misunderstand," he said smoothly. "These are merely diagnostic tools." "That transmit military data directly to your fleet," Kim challenged. "Our scientists have decoded the signals." Taik's expression hardened. The pretense of friendship vanished. "Your species is more perceptive than we anticipated," he said coldly. "Most races are so grateful for our gifts that they never question them until it's too late." Kim stepped closer. "Humanity has a long history of receiving gifts from those who want what we have. We've learned to be careful." Taik looked around the room at Earth's leaders. "You have made a grave mistake today. The Novarian Empire has ruled this sector of the galaxy for 1,000 years. We have erased civilizations more advanced than yours for less disrespect." "Then why offer gifts at all?" Kim asked. "Why not? Simply attack?" "We prefer willing subjects," Taik replied. "Less messy, but make no mistake, subjects you will become one way or another." The alien delegation departed that day, returning to their ship without ceremony. As they lifted off, Taik's voice came through all communication channels worldwide. "You have 2 cycles of your moon to reconsider your position. Accept Novarian rule and become a protected world with limited freedoms, or face extinction. The choice is yours." After they left, Earth's nations finally united. Old enemies became allies against this new threat. The United Defense Force grew, as every country contributed resources and soldiers. Kim stood at the window of the new global military headquarters, watching fighters practice maneuvers in the sky. "Do we have a chance?" Lee asked, joining her. Kim watched Earth's first space battleships under construction in the distance. "They think they know us," she said quietly. "They think we'll either surrender or fight predictably. But they don't understand humanity at all." "And what don't they understand?" Kim turned to her friend. "That nothing is more dangerous than humans with their backs against the wall. Remember to check if any part of your response requires a citation. If you're including specific information from search results, use tags correctly." 6 months passed quickly. Earth used every minute to prepare. The Novarian deadline approached, and humanity refused to surrender. Commander Kim stood on the bridge of the UDF Defender, Earth's first true battleship. Built in record time, it combined human innovation with reverse-engineered alien technology. "Here," Officer Park announced, his voice steady despite the fear everyone felt. The main screen showed dozens of massive ships appearing at the edge of the solar system. "Right on schedule," Kim said. "Are our asteroid bases ready?" "Yes, Commander. All 16 bases report ready status," Lee confirmed. Kim had pushed for a strategy the military leaders initially rejected. Instead of concentrating Earth's defenses around the planet, she spread them throughout the solar system. Asteroids became hidden fortresses. The moons of Jupiter concealed ambush points. Earth itself appeared almost undefended. "The Novarians value order and predictability," Kim had explained. "So we'll be chaotic and unpredictable." Now, as the alien armada approached, that strategy faced its test. The first Novarian transmission came through. High Commander Tayek appeared on screen, his blue skin now adorned with war markings. "Your time has ended," he stated flatly. "Surrender now, and we will spare your major cities." Kim stood tall. "We decline your generous offer." Tayek's eyes narrowed. "Then you have chosen extinction." The screen went dark. "They're moving toward Mars," Park reported. "Standard formation, just as our intelligence predicted." Kim nodded. "They expect us to defend each planet in turn. Let's disappoint them." As the Novarian fleet approached Mars in perfect battle lines, they found nothing waiting for them. No ships, no defenses. They passed the red planet, moving inward toward Earth. "They're scanning the asteroid belt now," Lee said. "Detection imminent." Kim pressed a button on her command chair. "All asteroid bases, execute Operation Hornet's Nest." Across the asteroid belt, hidden bases powered up. Small, fast attack ships, launched from concealed hangars. They weren't meant to win battles. They were designed to disrupt the perfect Novarian formations. On the enemy flagship, Tayek watched in confusion as his neat battle lines broke apart under attacks from all directions. "These are not proper military tactics," he complained to his second. "They attack without concern for casualties, without proper formation." "They're fighting like barbarians," his officer replied. The Novarians adjusted, bringing their superior firepower to bear. Human ships fell by the dozens, but each took a piece of the enemy with them. On the Defender, Kim received the casualty reports with a heavy heart. "Move to Phase 2, she ordered. Engineer Yoon's special project activated. Electromagnetic pulse weapons hidden on key asteroids. They fired simultaneously, targeting the Novarian communication systems. Suddenly cut off from Central Command, each alien ship had to make decisions alone, something they rarely practiced. Their response slowed dramatically. "Novarian ships are regrouping defensively," Park reported. "They've stopped their advance." "Now we hit them where it hurts," Kim said. "All ships, target their flagships." The UDF fleet emerged from hiding, behind Jupiter's moons, striking directly at the heart of the confused Novarian force. These weren't small attack ships. These were Earth's real weapons, held in reserve for this moment. Professor Choi's shields proved their worth, absorbing energy blasts that should have destroyed the human vessels instantly. The Novarians, expecting an easy victory, found themselves in a real fight. Kim watched as a particularly large alien vessel moved to intercept the Defender. "That's their command ship," she said. "All power to forward shields. We're going to pay them a visit." The Defender plunged toward the massive vessel, dodging fire from all sides. They think we're attempting a suicide run, Lee observed, as alarms blared around them. Let them think that, Kim replied calmly. At the last possible moment, the Defender veered away, but not before launching special boarding pods designed by Yoon. They attached to the Novarian ship's hull, cutting through with powerful lasers. Inside those pods were Earth's best soldiers, led by Colonel Han. Their mission, capture the ship's database. The battle raged for hours. Earth lost almost half its fleet. The asteroids' bases were discovered and destroyed one by one. But the Novarians, for the first time in centuries, faced an enemy that refused to follow the rules of engagement. When Han's team successfully transmitted the Novarian tactical database to Kim's ship, she gave the order all captains were waiting. For full retreat, scatter and regroup at designated points. The human fleet broke apart, ships fleeing in all directions. The Novarians, their formation finally restored, did not pursue immediately. On his command ship, Tyke studied the battle. Reports with disbelief. "We lost 17 vessels," his officer said. "No species has ever inflicted such damage during First Contact War." Tyke stared at the screen showing Earth in the distance. What kind of creatures are these humans, he wondered aloud. And how do we break an enemy that doesn't know when it's defeated? 17 major wars in the last 500 years of their history, the Novarian cultural analyst reported, displaying images of human conflicts on the main screen. They fight over territory, resources, ideas, and sometimes for no logical reason at all. High Commander Tyke paced the bridge of his flagship. 1 month had passed since the first battle, and the humans continued to defy expectations. "Show me their military leaders again," he ordered. Images appeared of famous generals and strategists from human history. "They study their own wars constantly," the analyst continued. "Each new generation learns from the last. They have a saying, 'To know your enemy and know yourself, and you need not fear the result of 100 battles.'" Tyke stopped pacing. "They've been studying us as well." Meanwhile, on the hidden base beneath Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, Commander Kim reviewed the stolen Novarian database with her team. "Their entire military follows strict protocols," she explained to the gathered captains. "Every situation has a specific response. They've conquered 1,000 worlds using the same tactics because those tactics always worked. Until now," Lee added. Kim nodded. "They expect enemies to either fight conventionally or surrender. We're doing neither." Officer Park pointed to the display showing Novarian ship movements. "They're searching for us methodically, quadrant by quadrant. Very organized, very predictable," Kim corrected. "And that gives us an advantage." The UDF launched their new strategy the next day. Small groups of ships appeared, attacked Novarian patrols, then disappeared before reinforcements arrived. Sometimes they hit hard, destroying vital supply ships. Other times they merely damaged communication arrays and retreated without firing another shot. In the Novarian command room, alerts sounded constantly. "Another attack, High Commander. 3 ships hit our fuel transport near Saturn, then vanished." Tyke slammed his fist on the table. "How are they moving so quickly between attack points? Their ships don't have that capability." The truth was simple, but brilliant. Earth forces weren't traveling between attack points. Kim had divided her remaining fleet into dozens of small groups hidden throughout the solar system. Each group operated independently, choosing when and where to strike based on local observations. No central commands, no patterns, no predictability. For the methodical Novarians, it was maddening. 2 weeks later, Tyke ordered his fleet to concentrate around Jupiter, where most attacks seemed to originate. He arranged his ships in a defensive sphere, determined to catch the humans in a trap. On the Europa base, Kim saw the movement. "They're finally here," she said, "and they've brought most of their fleet." Lee looked concerned. "We can't possibly fight that many ships." "We don't need to fight them," Kim replied. "We just need them to stay focused on Jupiter while our real plan unfolds." Across the solar system, Professor Choi activated his newest creation. Using the Novarian communication frequencies obtained from the stolen database, he broadcast a special signal. On every alien ship, systems began behaving strangely. Sensors showed phantom human vessels that didn't exist. Communication arrays picked up false transmissions. Navigation systems miscalculated positions. "It's working," Choi reported from his lab on Earth. "Their technology is advanced but extremely standardized. One successful hack affects their entire fleet." As the Novarians struggled with malfunctioning equipment, Kim launched her daring plan. The UDF Defender, accompanied by their 5 remaining large battleships, emerged from Europa's shadow and headed straight for the heart of the enemy fleet. "This is madness," Lee whispered as they accelerated toward thousands of enemy vessels. "This is psychology," Kim corrected. "They believe we're irrational. Let's show them how irrational we can be." The small human battle group plunged into the enemy formation, targeting specifically the ships with command markings. In the confusion caused by Choi's signal, the Novarians fired on each other as often as they hit human vessels. On his flagship, Tyke watched in horror as his perfect defensive sphere dissolved into chaos. "Target the largest human ship," he ordered. Multiple Novarian vessels fired on the Defender. Kim's ship took heavy damage, but continued pressing forward, straight toward Tyke's command vessel. "Collision course," Tyke's officer shouted. "Evacuate." "The bridge," Tyke ordered, his composure finally breaking. But the Defender veered away at the last second, leaving behind a single object attached to the Novarian flagship's hull. "What did they do?" Tyke demanded when he returned to the bridge. "Scan for explosives." "It's not a bomb," his officer replied, puzzled. "It appears to be a communication device." Kim's voice filled the Novarian bridge. "Hi, Commander Tyke. By now you've realized you're fighting an enemy unlike any you've faced before." Tyke stared at the speaker. "What is the purpose of this?" "To deliver a message," Kim replied. "You don't understand humans, you never will. Every day this war continues, we learn more about you while you understand us less. Consider carefully if that's a war you can win." The human ships retreated, disappearing, once again into the vastness of space. In the aftermath, Tyke gathered his advisors. "These humans, they're not fighting to win battles, they're fighting to confuse us, to make us doubt." "It's working," his cultural analyst admitted. "Our soldiers report increasing anxiety. They say fighting humans is like fighting shadows." Tyke looked out at the stars. "Then perhaps it's time we stopped fighting shadows and brought this war into the light." The captured Novarian command ship proved more valuable than Commander Kim had hoped. Hidden in its database was not just military information, but communication codes for every species in the Novarian Empire. "There are thousands of worlds under their control," Kim said as she studied the star maps with her team on Europa base. "Some conquered recently, others ruled for centuries. And they all hate the Novarians as much as we do," added Diplomat Baek, who had joined the military effort after first contact failed. Kim turned to him. "Can you establish contact? Find potential allies?" Baek smiled. "Give me the codes, and I'll find us an army." It took weeks of careful work. The Novarians monitored all standard communication channels. Baek had to create new protocols, using brief encrypted bursts of data that seemed like background radiation. His first success came from the Tellurian system, 50 light-years from Earth. The insect-like Tellurians had been under Novarian rule for over 200 years. Their mathematicians were forced to serve the Empire, calculating hyperspace jumps and designing weapons. "We have waited long for someone to challenge them," the Tellurian representative's message stated, "but we feared it was impossible." "Nothing is impossible," Beck replied, "only improbable, and together we improve our probability of success." More contacts followed. The gaseous Juan, who lived in the atmospheres of gas giants, could sabotage Novarian fuel processing. The crystalline Moon Collective possessed telepathic abilities that could disrupt enemy communications. As each new species joined their secret alliance, Kim's strategy evolved. Earth forces continued their hit-and-run attacks, keeping the Novarians focused on the solar system. Meanwhile, throughout the Empire, subtle rebellions began. Novarian supply ships reported navigation errors, ending up in empty space with critical supplies. Military bases experienced power failures during important operations. Communication between worlds became unreliable. High Commander Tyke noticed the pattern. "These are not coincidences," he told his war council. "The humans have somehow contacted our subject worlds." His advisors scoffed. "Impossible. The distances are too great, and our blockade around their system is complete. Nevertheless, Tyek insisted, we are facing coordinated resistance for the first time. He ordered increased security on all subject worlds and began recalling ships from distant regions to strengthen his position in the solar system. This was exactly what Kim had hoped for. As Novarian presence thinned across the Empire, the resistance grew bolder. 4 months into the war, Kim decided it was time for her most daring move yet. Using a small, fast ship designed with stealth technology, she and diplomat Bayek would leave the solar system to meet with their allies in person. This is too risky, Lee argued. We need you here. We need a unified strategy, Kim countered, and that requires face-to-face meetings with our allies. The journey was perilous. They navigated through Novarian patrols, hiding in asteroid fields and the shadows of dead planets. After 3 weeks, they reached the meeting point, a small moon orbiting a gas giant in neutral space. Representatives from 12 species waited for them, each with their own reasons to hate the Empire. I never imagined I would stand in the same room with so many different forms of life, Beck whispered as they entered the secret chamber. The Tellurian representative stepped forward, its compound eyes reflecting the dim light. Commander Kim, your resistance has given us all hope, but hope is not enough to defeat the Empire. No, Kim agreed. We need more than hope. We need a plan they cannot predict. For 3 days, they shared knowledge and developed strategies. The Tellurians provided detailed maps of Novarian supply lines. The Huan explained weaknesses in their fuel systems. The Moon demonstrated how to block the enemy's telepathic monitoring. On the final day, as they prepared to return to their worlds, an urgent message arrived from Earth. The Novarians have revealed a new weapon, Lee's voice came through the secure channel. They call it the Planet Breaker. Kim's blood ran cold. Have they used it? Yes, Lee's voice cracked. On Mars. Our colony there. It's gone. The planet has been shattered into asteroids. Silence fell across the meeting chamber. Then, one by one, each alien representative moved closer to Kim, forming a circle around her. This changes nothing, the Tellurian stated, except to prove that the Novarians must be stopped. But a weapon that can destroy planets, Beck began, is merely a larger version of weapons they have used before, interrupted the Mun representative, its crystalline body pulsing with light. And like all their weapons, it can be turned against them. Kim looked at the diverse beings surrounding her, different shapes, biologies and minds, united by a common purpose. The Novarians believe this demonstration will break our will, she said. They still don't understand us, any of us. They think fear will make us surrender. She placed her hand on the star map, pointing to the Novarian homeworld. Instead, it gives us a target. Together, we will show them what happens when you push the oppressed too far. As Kim and Bayek prepared to return to Earth with their new allies' promises of support, they received one final message from Lee. Hurry back, Commander. The Novarians are moving the Planet Breaker into position around Earth. We have 1 month before they demand our final surrender. The massive Novarian fleet surrounded Earth. At its center, the Planet Breaker loomed, a weapon large enough to crack a world open like an egg. Its power had already been demonstrated on Mars, leaving nothing but floating debris where the red planet once orbited. High Commander Tyek stood on his flagship's bridge, looking down at the blue world. Send the message, he ordered. They have 1 day to surrender, or we use the Planet Breaker. On Earth, people watched the skies with a mixture of fear and determination. Evacuation ships had taken as many as possible to underground bases on the Moon and the moons of Jupiter, but billions remained. Commander Kim's ship, the battle-scarred Defender, approached Earth under stealth, carrying the leaders of the resistance. Alliance. We're outnumbered 100 to 1, Lee said, studying the enemy formations. Even with our allies' ships arriving soon, we can't win a direct battle. We're not going to fight them, Kim replied. We're going to break them. The plan had been formed during her journey back from the secret meeting. It was dangerous and depended on perfect timing, but it was their only chance. The Tellurian ships are in position, Officer Park reported. The Huan and Mun fleets are approaching from the outer system, Kim nodded. Begin Operation True Nature. Across the solar system, the Alliance made its move. But not with weapons. The Tellurian mathematicians activated a special program, broadcasting it through the Novarian communication network. It bypassed security by appearing as routine system updates. On every Novarian ship, screens began displaying information, not attack plans or threats, but Earth's history and culture, art, music, literature, philosophy. The program forced the aliens to see humanity as more than an enemy. At the same time, the Huan released special gas compounds that drifted through the ventilation systems of Novarian ships. These compounds didn't harm anyone. They simply enhanced emotional responses and empathy. The Moon Collective focused their telepathic abilities not on disrupting Novarian thoughts, but on sharing human emotions. Fear, yes, but also courage, hope and determination to protect their home. On his flagship, Tyke felt the strange sensations washing over him. "What is happening?" he demanded, as images of Earth's achievements and struggles played on every screen. "It appears to be some kind of cultural attack," his officer replied, struggling to maintain his composure as he felt unfamiliar emotions. Tyke tried to order the planet breaker to fire, but his crew hesitated, suddenly uncertain about destroying. A world filled with such life and potential. That's when Kim made her boldest move. The Defender dropped its stealth and approached the Novarian flagship directly, weapons powered down. "What are they doing?" Tyke asked. "Prepare to fire." But before his crew could react, Kim's face appeared on their main screen. "High Commander Tyke," she said calmly. "I am here to discuss terms for your surrender." Tyke laughed despite the strange emotions affecting him. "Our surrender? We have you surrounded. We have the planet breaker aimed at your homeworld. Why would we surrender?" "Because we've already won," Kim replied. "While your attention was focused on Earth, our allies have taken control of 17 key worlds in your empire. Your supply lines are cut. Your central government is in chaos." She paused, letting the information sink in. "But more importantly, you should surrender because we're offering you the chance to live." Tyke's skin darkened with anger. "You would spare us? After we destroyed your colony world? I don't believe you." "That's the difference between us," Kim said. "Now you destroy because you can. We choose not to, even when we have the power." She sent a signal, and on every Novarian ship, a countdown appeared. "We've infected your planet breaker with a virus," Kim explained. "In 1 hour, it will self-destruct. But we're giving you the shutdown code now as a show of good faith." Tyke stared at the human commander. "I don't understand. You could destroy our most powerful weapon, yet you give us the choice to save it?" "Because weapons aren't the measure of civilization," Kim answered. "Choices are. We choose to offer peace, even to those who didn't offer it to us." The Novarian High Command verified Kim's claims. Their empire was indeed fracturing. Subject worlds were declaring independence with the help of human technology and strategies. "Why?" Tyke asked finally. "Why show mercy when victory is possible?" "Because that's humanity's true nature," Kim said simply. "Not our capacity for war, which you've witnessed, but our capacity for peace even when war seems easier." After 8 months of conflict, the war ended not with Earth's destruction or the Novarian Empire's collapse, but with something neither side had imagined, a peace treaty. The Empire transformed into a federation of equal worlds. Novarians learned to value cooperation over conquest. The planet breaker was dismantled, its parts used to build ships for exploration rather than destruction. 1 year later, Commander Kim stood in the new Galactic Council chamber, where representatives from dozens of species gathered to shape their shared future. "Did you always know it would end this way?" Lee asked as they watched the former enemies working together. Kim shook her head. "I knew only that we had to show them who we really are, not just warriors who refuse to surrender, but people who understand that true strength isn't in winning a war. It's in knowing when not to fight one," Lee finished. Kim nodded, watching as the Novarian representative, not Tyke, who had stepped down, but a younger leader, worked alongside a Tellurian to draft new laws protecting all worlds. "That's the lesson we needed to teach them," Kim said, "and perhaps the one we needed to remember ourselves.